You have one important thing to do, so naturally, you clean one suspicious corner of the refrigerator, compare weather forecasts for cities you do not live in, and watch a 12-minute video about how medieval people brushed their teeth. The task is still there. Nothing has improved. And yet, for a few glorious minutes, you feel better. Why does avoiding a task feel so good when you know it will make your life worse? The short answer is that procrastination is often less about managing time and more about managing mood. Avoiding the task removes an unpleasant feeling right now. The consequences are assigned to a future version of you who apparently has unlimited energy and enjoys administrative work. This is what makes procrastination so strange. It is a bad long-term decision that can work extremely well in the short term. Suppose you need to write an important email. The email itself might take 4 minutes, but opening it could bring uncertainty. What if you sound rude? What if the answer creates more work? What if you discover that you should have replied 3 days ago? The task is small. The emotions attached to it are not. Then you decide to check one notification first. Immediately, the tension drops. You have escaped the possibility of embarrassment, confusion, or effort. Your brain notices this relief. That relief is the joy of procrastination. Not joy in the sense of deep fulfillment. Nobody finishes an evening of accidental scrolling and thinks, "At last, I have lived according to my values." It is closer to the pleasure of taking off an uncomfortable shoe. The problem has not been solved, but the discomfort has briefly stopped. Psychologists Fuchsia Saroy and Timothy Pitchell have described procrastination as a form of short-term mood repair. When a task makes us feel bored, anxious, frustrated, insecure, or overwhelmed, postponing it can regulate those emotions immediately. This also explains why calling procrastinators lazy is usually not very helpful. Laziness suggests that someone simply does not want to use effort. Procrastination often looks much more energetic. A person may reorganize an entire kitchen instead of filling out one form. A student may design a beautiful study schedule instead of studying. An employee may spend 2 hours researching the perfect productivity system to avoid doing 20 minutes of work. There is effort. It is just flowing around the threatening task, like water around a rock. The threat does not have to be physical. Human brains respond to social and psychological danger too. A difficult task can threaten our sense of competence. An application can expose us to rejection.
A creative project can produce evidence that our brilliant idea is, at present, mostly a folder called Final Version New 2. Perfectionism can make this worse. If the result must be exceptional, starting becomes a test of identity. You are no longer merely writing a paragraph. You are discovering whether you deserve to think of yourself as intelligent. Under those conditions, opening a blank document can feel oddly dangerous. Avoidance protects the fantasy. As long as the project remains unfinished, it could still be wonderful. A completed project can be judged. An untouched project remains theoretically magnificent. Boredom creates a different problem. Some tasks are not frightening. They are simply dull, repetitive, or far removed from their reward. Filing taxes now may prevent trouble months from now, but your nervous system has also detected a nearby video of a raccoon stealing cat food. The raccoon wins because its reward is immediate. A major 2007 review by psychologist Piers Steele found that procrastination was strongly connected with factors such as task aversiveness, impulsiveness, low confidence in success, and rewards or deadlines that felt distant. This fits a broader pattern in human decision-making. We tend to discount future outcomes. A reward arriving today often feels more valuable than a larger reward arriving much later. The same distortion applies to costs. The discomfort of working is happening now. The cost of delay belongs to Friday. Friday you is almost treated like another person. Friday you will somehow be calmer, smarter, and fully hydrated. Friday you will not receive new emails, become tired, or discover another raccoon. Of course, when Friday arrives, the future self becomes the present self and learns that a crime has been committed. This creates the procrastination loop. First, a task produces discomfort. Then you avoid it. Avoidance produces relief, so the brain learns that escape works. But the task remains, often with less time available. It now carries additional emotions such as guilt, shame, and panic. The next time you look at it, it feels even worse, so avoiding it becomes even more tempting. Procrastination is therefore capable of manufacturing the exact feelings that keep it alive. Deadlines can temporarily break the loop. As the deadline approaches, the distant consequence becomes immediate. Suddenly, failing to act feels worse than acting.
Motivation rises, attention narrows, and a person who could not begin for 3 weeks produces 9 pages during a night powered by fear and inappropriate quantities of caffeine. This can create a dangerous conclusion. I work better under pressure. Sometimes people do become more focused under pressure, but finishing under pressure does not prove that pressure improved the work. It may only prove that panic finally became stronger than avoidance. There is also an important difference between procrastination and strategic delay. Not every delay is a failure. You might postpone a decision because you need more information. You might leave a draft overnight so you can review it with fresh eyes. You might delay one task because another is genuinely more important. Strategic delay is intentional and serves the goal. Harmful procrastination is delay that you expect will make things worse, but choose anyway because it makes the present moment easier. This is why the idea of active procrastination is controversial. Some people deliberately work close to deadlines and still perform well, but researchers have argued that purposeful, controlled delay is better understood as strategy, not procrastination. If the delay is planned, useful, and not producing unwanted consequences, it is simply scheduling with dramatic lighting. So how do you interrupt the harmful version? The usual answer is to become more disciplined. Unfortunately, this can turn the task into a moral trial, adding shame to something that already feels unpleasant. A better first question is, what feeling am I avoiding? Maybe the task is vague. Maybe you fear doing it badly. Maybe you resent being told to do it. Maybe you are tired and the task requires decisions your brain no longer wishes to provide. Naming the discomfort makes the problem more specific. I am lazy offers no next step. I do not know how to begin this report does. Then reduce the emotional price of starting. Do not command yourself to finish the entire report. Open the file and write 3 bad sentences. Do not clean the whole apartment. Put away 5 objects. Do not prepare for the entire exam. Answer 1 practice question. This works partly because motivation often follows action rather than preceding it. We imagine that productive people feel ready and then begin. Frequently, they begin while feeling unready, and readiness arrives once the task is less mysterious. Make the next action physical and obvious. Work on presentation is vague. Open the slides and write the title of slide 1 gives the brain something it can actually do. It also helps to move some reward into the present. Work beside someone. Use a short timer. Pair a dull task with pleasant music if the task allows it. Create an early checkpoint instead of trusting one distant deadline.
The goal is not to bribe yourself like an uncooperative zoo animal. Although, functionally, there are similarities. The goal is to stop asking the present self to absorb every cost while the future self receives every benefit. And when you do procrastinate, self-punishment may deepen the problem. One study of university students found that greater self-forgiveness after procrastinating on one exam was associated with less procrastination before the next. Forgiveness did not mean pretending the delay was harmless. It meant reducing the negative emotion that could trigger another round of avoidance. There is a useful distinction here. Responsibility says, I delayed this and I need a better approach. Shame says, I delayed this because I am fundamentally defective. Only one of those statements contains a plan. Severe or persistent procrastination can also be connected with broader difficulties involving anxiety, depression, attention, sleep, or executive function. In those cases, another color-coded calendar may not address the real obstacle. The behavior can look identical from the outside, while coming from very different internal problems. But ordinary procrastination already reveals something important about the human mind. We are not machines calmly selecting the action with the greatest future value. We are emotional creatures negotiating between 2 selves. One wants a better life next month. The other would like the unpleasant feeling to stop in the next 8 seconds. When you suddenly decide that the bathroom grout needs urgent inspection, your brain is not forgetting the task. It is solving a different problem. It is removing discomfort. The solution works. That is precisely why it is dangerous. So the next time you catch yourself avoiding something important, notice the tiny moment of relief. That pleasant little exhale is not proof that you made the right decision. It is the reward that trains the habit. The task you are avoiding may not require a more heroic future self. It may only require the present self to feel uncomfortable for long enough to begin.